Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to another week. We are going to be doing blend shapes. So blend shapes is where you have a mesh and you have a blend shape node on it, and then we can press play and we can get some animation out of that in the blend shape editor, which lives up in animation land, and we've got the shape editor, this guy here, and we can see our little blend shape setup that we've created. So we're going to create this one from scratch. So let's get going and come in here. So I'm just going to be in the perspective window. We're going to make sure our grid is on, and I'm just going to create a plane and then bring that up. So rotate it 90 degrees, bring it up, and freeze the transforms, delete the history. So we've got no history on that. Now I'm just going to do a mesh smooth like this one, and I'll just do that a few times like there. And then we're going to grab our two eyes, delete it. So this is like the super basicest thing. Right, hello guys, how are we? So then I'm going to just put a couple of edge loops in there. That's the multi-cut, and we'll just scale that all the way down. And we've got our closed mouth there. One more poly smooth just to finish that off, and we've got enough geometry to work with. Delete history, and we are off, so I'll just save that. I'll call this a start. Okay. All right, so now that we're here, let's now name this guy face, geo, or something like that. Should be good. And we can also create a couple of little eyes. So let's do that. So we're just going to go while we're here. Going to create, sorry, not that. We're going to create, and not a plane either. If I get third time lucky, we are going to create a cylinder. So the cylinder will be just the eyes. So we're going to come in and make that 24 divisions, and then grab that and then select the inverse of that, center the pivot, bring it back, and we are going to be making an eyeball, so something like that, just not too far back. Yeah, something like that, just inside of the head, but that's pretty good. All right, so now that we've got that created, let's put a shader on that. So I'll just assign a standard surface, and we just want that guy to be black, and we want to have no shininess on that. So deleting history again, freezing the transforms. Now I'm going to duplicate that, group it in negative scale, -1, and then I'm just going to grab both of those. Just move them in a little bit in the world, an object. And we can now combine that, delete history, and those are the eyes. Okay, so now we've got our face ready to go. We can make him look around. There you guys. We want to now get into the blend shape editor. So if I come to the front view, we can see it looks like this. No need to have the grid anymore. And we're going to come into Windows, Animation, and that shape editor. This guy here, we can dock that. So just make sure that I'm going to come back, reset the general workspace. So we've got absolutely nothing, totally default. And then I'll just come into the animation shape editor and just dock that. Here we are. Okay. So this is a very, very simple UI to start with, and it's got a little bit of stuff. It's not too bad. This is not a too bad a UI. They've improved it over the years massively. So the first thing that we need to do is just create an empty node that will be part of the history on the face. That will be the blend shape node. Now that node always gets put after the joints, but it sort of all does it automatically for you now. So as long as you've got a skinned mesh with joints, then the blend shape will go appropriately where it needs to. And all we got to do is hit this button. So that's now created the blend shape node. You'll see that there is the node there, and it's connected to the mesh. That is literally a node. Okay, so if we are to come in, we can just select nothing and then right click and then select the blend shape node. That is the node there. It looks like that. Yeah, so it's just a node that we've created there that belongs to the mesh. If we rename this, so we'll call this face blend. It's now renaming the node, so that is the node. Now from now on, we just want to add targets. So once you only want one node per mesh, we can now create a lot of blend shapes. You can have lots and lots and lots. So we just go add target. Okay, so this is going to create our first blend shape, and we can just come in and make any modification to the mesh. So something pretty bad, yeah, like that. Okay, so now that we've done that, you can see that we can start to animate that. And what happens is the vertices just move with what we've done. So come out of the edit mode. That edit mode must be on for us to make changes. And now we've got this up and down. Let's now delete that guy. So we obviously didn't need him, but we can come in and back onto our blend shape node and now add another target. This time we're going to do something a little bit more useful. So a blend shape is simply a position, a mesh position of the mesh. So if we were to come in and just do a smile, and we'll just start with something very, very simple. Here, we'll come in and just move some vertices up like there. Okay. Then we'll come out and now we've modeled this tiny little bad smile on one side of the face. So what's happening now is Maya has come in and it's recording these 5 vertices. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's recording the delta difference of the two of the original mesh and then how far those guys have moved. So it's basically just a big spreadsheet of I guess vertice information. So just imagine a big vertice information, and then it's just their offsets in terms of total position values. So how much is this guy moving in relationship to where he was? So in this case, we've got that one vertice, and that one vertice is just moving up on the Y at the moment, and it's just going to be recording that. So it doesn't, the blend shapes aren't really aware of where the vertices were to start with. That's all got to do with the original mesh and the mesh itself, where the vertices start from. All it's recording in the side of this is the vertices that you move. So if you've got a massive mesh with like heaps and heaps of vertices all over it, you can sort of just remember that if you make a blend shape and you're only moving like 20 vertices, it's only recording that. And in a text file, that's not very much information. So blend shapes can be quite small if you don't have too many vertices. If, however, you're changing all the vertices on your character, then that can potentially be a lot of information. So you can fill up the Maya file fairly well, but it's nothing too bad. Like, you know, images can be very big when you make image sequences and stuff like that. Blend shapes are really not that bad. So that's what Maya is doing when you're doing this. It's just offsetting those purely on translation. It's not rotating or doing anything. Once we've got that in our head, we can now come in, and I'm just going to delete that again. Create another one and call that one smile as well. So we want to come in and now just move this up. Actually, I'm going to start with the mouth up. All right, so we're just going to make a few blend shapes, and we'll come in, just make the soft select quite large and move that so the mouth comes up like that. Now, if I made something a little bit bigger like this, there's a few cool buttons that we can play with, something like that. You can see now when we move the blend shape, it's beginning to affect the eyes, and it's also affecting the bottom of the face, which we don't want to do, and also the sides. So what we can do is we can come across into I believe this is in the modeling menu, I think. So, nope, rigging, where is it? Just had it up before. Animation, nope. Totally lost today. I really don't use this, I use another tool, but there it is. We're in the sculpting. So in the sculpting view, this is our blend shape buttons. Okay, I don't know, had a bit of a brain blank there. So we've got our sculpting erase tool here. And these guys, these purple guys, are the blend shapes. So that is actually opening the blend shape editor, which is this guy. This is the pose editor, which we're not using at the moment. And this is the smooth target. So we just really want to concentrate on this one, which is the erase, and this one, which is the smooth. And we're going to ignore these guys here. They're not to be covered today. So we'll come in and we can now be in the symmetry mode. So remember, if I just hit on my hotkeys Alt-M, but that is up the top here, just make sure that you are in Object X. We've now got symmetry mode on, and we can now come in with the erase and just erase that blend shape. So we want to go back to the original, just around the borders and on the eyes as well. So you can sort of see what that's doing. If I just come in and do that. Okay, so just erasing around there. Now we want to smooth a little bit too. So there is a smooth button, and this is really great as well. And we can now just smooth around there and get some smoothing happening. So you can sort of be a bit rough with the blend shapes and then smooth after the fact, which is quite cool, and do something like that. So we've made our blend shape, which is our mouth up. in a bit of a different way. So now we just want to take that off. You always want to take this edit button off if you can see that the blend shape is on. So we'll make another one. This sort of like comes up with this little guy, this editing blend shape, and you see editing blend shape, shape target. If that is on in your scene and you don't have the blend shape editor open, then open it and turn it off because it's not very good. But now we've got this other one, we can take that one down. And now this new one is up and we'll just go mouth down. Okay. So with the mouth down, we're going to do something similar. Just grab this here. And this time I don't want to make it so big, so we don't want to fix it so much. But I can move that all the way down. Got this mouth down. Come back in, and I just want to clean that up on the edges. And on the bottom. Now that's doing a little bit too much work, so I want to make the brush just a bit smaller. Just go over these side ones. And over the bottom, I just don't want them moving much at all. Okay, that's pretty good. And we can do just a tiny bit of smoothing, but it's already pretty good because we used the smooth, the soft select. And there we have the mouth down. So mouth down is one way, and then mouth up is the other way. Take note that you can use both of them together. So we could go, hey, the mouth can go up and the mouth can go down at the same time, and you get them sort of canceling each other out a little bit. So you can also grab them both and then move them at the same time. And you can see that we're getting this weird effect of the vertices combining together. So we call each of these blend shapes additive. So what it means is when you add like positive Y up and then add it with another positive Y up, it's going to move twice as far. So all these sort of add together. Now, if you've got one going up, so you've got a whole bunch of vertices going up, and in the other one, like 1 plus -1 equals 0. So it will stay roughly in the same place there. So each point is adding up. So this is the simplest math that you learned in primary school. And that is how it works. It's really fairly dumb to what's going on. So you can get a lot of intersecting verts and some weirdness going on, which we're going to see in a little bit. So that's that. So we're just going to add another shape here, not a combination. How did that one happen? I'm going to come here, add another target there, and we want this one to be our smile shape. So our smile shape should be pretty easy. Just come in here with a soft select, nice sort of good size soft select, move it up, rotate it around a little bit, and then maybe select it again. And we just want that to sort of come up and be this freaky smile. So something like this. So smiles sort of like come up and pull in this diagonal sort of away. The bottom of the mouth is important to know that smiles just go up, they don't go down. So you don't get that sort of stuff happening unless the lips are doing something really weird. So sometimes you can lift the whole lips up as well. But in cartoon land, we do this really basic smile. But on a more realistic character, you know, this part of the lips can really come up as well. Okay, so look at a lot of reference footage. So I'm just going to come in here with the erase and just erase around the eyes a little bit. Just don't want those affected. We'll do those separately. And then come down just around there. I don't want any of that affecting. Then in our smooth again, smooth that out a little bit. And we've got a pretty good smile. I want that just to be a little bit steeper. I think we'll look a bit cooler here. So here we're getting this sort of effect where it's overlapping. So because we haven't got this nice radial topology, we sort of want to move some of these verts up a little bit so that that helps out this smile shape. Otherwise, definitely model your characters with nice loops everywhere. Something like that, and we can see that that's on its way. Now, if we hit 3, of course, it will smile and soften a little bit nicer. So we've got that. So there's our smile shape. So what we can do now is smile and then the mouth up. So let's go here. You can see that's coming all the way up, and we can smile and come down. Now on the smile up, I'm going to go back to this faceted mode. On the mouth up, right, we can see that, yes, now we're definitely getting all these like little crunching vertices and stuff happening there when the smile comes right up. So the vertices don't really care where they are. They're just saying, okay, I'm going to add, you know, on this shape here, I'm going up X amount, and then in this shape, just push them X amount more in a diagonal fashion, and then the vertices all start to fall apart. So that's what happens when you do that. Now, what we can do to fix this is what's called a combination shape. So if you've got two shapes on, in this case, the mouth up and the smile, and we do those together, yeah, we can do a fix of that. So the way that we make these is that we go right click, and then we just go add combination target. So this is a combination target combo, I call them. And the combo is created here with the edit mode on. So now with both the smile and the mouth up, and I usually just call this smile mouth up, but you can see it over here. It's nicely presented for us. Now we can come in and just figure out the mess of vertices that are in here and clean it up. So I'm going to come in and just grab these guys, and just move them down a little bit so that's not such a mess. And now we need to fish in and just sort of work out what we want to untangle here. That one can definitely come down, just one by one, and I'm untangling all these vertices, which could be a bit tricky, but let's see. I didn't make this one in the demo that you just saw. All right, so now we're there. We want to bring these down, and we just one by one sort of untangle it. So when you've got very complex meshes, you can start to spend a lot of time tweaking vertices. But you can definitely use the sculpt tools. In particular, the grab brush is a really great one. Okay, so that's in the more advanced tutorials, but definitely you can use the sculpt tools with this sort of a workflow. So we've got that sort of happening there, looking not too bad. So we've just done a fix. So we can now exit out of this. Now what's happening is when the mouth comes up, so there is no controller for this one. So what happens is if I move that one down to here, so we've got these two guys, when the smile is on, this is a multiplication. So 0 times 1 equals 0, okay? If this one is 0.5, now we have 1 times 0.5 equals 0.5. Okay, so it's basic multiplication. So we've done additive, now we're doing multiplication math. So it's just 0.5 times 1 equals that. Now when they're both on, then this is like a corrective. It's a combination of these two shapes fix with this one. So this is the fix. So this has been applied here, and we can switch that off and see the difference. And if I'm in the wireframe mode, we can see the difference there that we've made. We've fixed that up majorly, so that's a nice little corrective fix on that. Now if the smile or if the mouth up was to come off, now it's 0 times 1, so we're back to 0. So we've just only now got the smile shape there, and that's how that works. So we are now in a good place there, and we've got a couple of things. So I just now come in and make a couple more. So the main shapes that I would make is definitely the smile, a mouth up and a mouth down. You could have a mouth in, a frown and a pout are your majors, and then a U shape, so like a mouth open. So let's quickly come ahead and just model some of these. So we're going to switch all these off now, and this time we're just going to model the mouth coming in. So I'm going to do that with a bit of soft select. That's just sort of like almost hitting that. I just want to bring that right in. So we want to be not in the Object X mode. We want to turn that off. And now we want to go W and R back to R, which is the scale. And I can just bring that right in. And we've got our mouth closed. It's like I call it small mouth, or mouth together, lips together, something like that. So we can go lips together, it's probably better. Lips can go together in many ways. So our lips in, I think, will be good. Okay, lips in, there we go. So we've got that. Now what we can see is when we smile, again, we've got this problem of the two adding together and creating issues. So you could then create another combination shape. So I'm just going to move that to the bottom, but you go that and right click and add a combination target and sculpt the fix if you want that to happen. I'm not going to worry about that one, but we are going to do a couple more. So add another target. can move that up to here. This one, let's call it mouth open. Okay, and we're just going to come in and grab these guys here. And just going to grab them by themselves actually and pull them up. And pull these ones down. So something like this. Come in. And we do definitely want to have the symmetry back on now. So symmetry there. So we've done one side, but the other will be okay. So we can come in now with a bit of a soft select there, pull that up, grab these guys, pull them up a little bit. Just want the mouth to be open. Now you could make it the mouth opening as a jaw down, which would have less top lip if you want. That's probably a little bit more realistic. But you can also have the mouth open to be joints as well. So they're not always going to be blend shapes. Okay, and we've got this sort of a rounded shape working. All right, so now that's there, I'll clean that up more, but let's just keep going for this demo. We've got that mouth open, so there it is, mouth open. We're editing it. Now let's make the smile as well. So we are now doing another combo, so of the smile and that together. It's looking okay. It's not, especially if we don't click on it, it's looking okay, but we can fix that up. So I'll just right click, add a combination that's good on that one to do it. So smile and open. And then we can model this fix. So let's just come through and fix this up a little bit. We can try to use our smooth, see how it goes. Now you'll notice that the smooth doesn't do a fantastic job of this one. See that? It's like not working. That's because it's using a special algorithm that's specifically made for the original mesh. So instead we can just pick any sculpt tool. This is the grab brush, so we can just grab and do that sort of stuff. The grab brush with shift held down will do a bit of a generic smooth for us. That's good. And then we can just come in and make this a little bit more of a generic mouth. Let's get a bit of a nicer shape to it. Don't forget to just move the verts one by one. Okay, so that's pretty good. I could go through and do that further, but that is now the corrective. So now when we have the smile on and the mouth open on, smile goes like that, and then the mouth open goes like that, and we've got our face looking pretty cool. I could sort of bring that out a little bit still, but I think that's pretty good. There. Okay, so we're very much on our way. I would just add a pout and a frowny face, but I'll open up the pre-made scene to show you that, because the how would I say it, the workflow is just the same. Okay, so now we want to do the eyes. So what we can do, these are all mouth shapes. These one in particular are the ones that we're going to key. So let's now right click and we can group those together, and we'll just call those mouth shapes. Okay. So this is just like a group that you don't really see, but it is there. Now you can key it on and off, but we don't do anything with it. You just leave it on. Okay. These guys here, we're just using it for organizational purposes. This is now our mouth combinations. So combos, mouth combos, and we can sort of like close them up and get them out of the way. And then when we're keyframing, we're just keyframing with those guys along with the eyes. So I'm going to come in again, select anywhere in this. We can add another target, and this one's now going to be our eye closed. So let's come in and make some eyes closing, hey? So like this, bit of a soft like, not too much. I can make it quite big, remember, and we can paint it out. Something like this, and then grabbing some more. And this is like our blink shape. Now blinks do come up a bit from the bottom as well. Something like that. And then I'll just come into here. Just quickly making that blink. Okay, so a blink shape. Now, it is important to know that we can mirror the things. Like, I'm not going to show you much mirroring, but let's do that just after I fix this up. So I'm just going to come in with a B key and then paint that out. So we're in a good place. We can also use the smooth. This works fairly nicely here. It's very interesting that the smooth does that, but I really want that to stay untouched. And then on the smooth, just get a bit of a nicer form to that. So we've got our eyes closed. There's our blink per se, but I want to just show you guys that you can create two sides. So usually what you'll do is create all your blend shapes, and then you'll try to make each one of them a mirror of the other, and then you'll have to do your mouth combos again, which is annoying. So there is another plugin called Shapes where you can use that, and then Shapes has a lot of cool features where you can automate splitting of shapes left and right and doing combos left and right and things like that. Maya, it's a little bit manual, but what you can do is we can sort of like now split like these blinks. Let's just try it on the blinks only. So we're going to ignore the mouth shapes. We're just going to come into the blinks and try and create a left and a right shape. So what we can do is we can come in and go duplicate, and then we call this eye closed left. Okay, so this is the left shape. And then we're going to switch off this one and switch this one on. So this is our eye left shape. And then, you haven't already guessed, we can now come in, turn off our symmetry, and just erase one side. So with our erase, we've got to be in the edit mode. And then we can just kill one of these sides. Now it gets a little bit harder with the mouth, because the mouth sort of like blends across the middle line. But we can see that, and then I can come into the smooth and just maybe smooth that out a tiny bit. Okay. So now we've got our one shape, and that's how that works. So that's our left lid blinking, and then we can duplicate it again. So we'll go duplicate target, and then come over to here on the right hand side, and we've got nothing else on but only this closed right, and we want to flip that, so we can flip that target. Now if we mirror, it's going to mirror both sides back to what we had, so we don't want that one. We want to flip mirror, and now we've got the right hand side. Okay, so you've got to really remember that your mesh has to be symmetrical. You have to have a line all the way down the middle. Okay, that's the way it works. Now what I can do is key those, and we could just delete this guy completely. Okay, now I'm not going to work in left and right with this because it just means we have to create more and more shapes and just more work. But you would definitely do that so you can get asymmetry in your shapes. It's very important that we have the left and the right sort of working like that. Before I do anything too, we can just put another group in here and call this the eye shapes. And I'll usually just bring that up. So the middle click dragging that up. And now we've got our eye shapes there, and I'm sort of ignoring the mouth combos, and we've got our blink shape there. Okay. So a couple more shapes that I might make is an angry shape and a happy shape. So let's do our happy shape and just make a couple of these, and then I'll skip to the end. So we'll just go here and we'll go eye happy. Now eye happy can be used for other things other than happy, but when you smile, usually, and we're going to put our symmetry back onto our object X, you'll have like this kind of smile, like, you know, cheeky smile. So the cheeks will come up and affect the eyes. Otherwise it looks a bit freaky. Something like that. Definitely you have like this kind of crow's feet happening. If you do have that sort of character on this, I'm just going to keep it really simple, but you can have crow's feet on characters too. So that's how eyes happy. They're coming up. That looks pretty good. Let's just get out of that mode. Now let's create, say, another one, and I'll just go add target again, and we'll go do our eye angry. And I'll create something like this. Again, bit of soft select. And then just move that down and make angry eyes, yeah. Something like that. And then this guy here, remove him. So he's a bit like that. And we've got this kind of angry eye shape. Again, I'm not too worried about the top because I know that I can just come in and erase that back. I can also smooth this, sort of like going back to where we wanted it. So now we've got our angry eyes, yeah. And then one more, we'll just go straight into eye sad. And we're going to do something here. So again, you could use the grab brush. This might be helpful on your characters. So soft select I use a lot, but you can also use the grab brush. We get these little sad eyes happening. once I get close, I'll then come and invert tweak. Something like this and move it down. Yeah, it looks pretty cool like that, but just getting those eyelids down. Same thing as before, we can erase up the top. Maybe not that much, just a little bit, and then smooth that out a little bit. Okay, it's not looking super sad, but whatever. So you'll see when I open up the other scene that we can definitely have more shapes in the mouth and that. We can also animate these eyes so you can look down and be a little bit more sad. Also, we'll be like putting the 3 key on this, so it looks a bit like that. And now we can start to make a smile with a sad face and start to play it up like lips in, you know, coming out, mouth down, up and down there, and you've just got a whole bunch of options there with the mouth coming open, so like this sort of a thing. All right, so if we want to key these guys, we can actually keyframe them. Now it's worth noting that if you do come to this face blend and just go right click and select the blend shape node, it is just these guys. So these guys here, they're sort of taken over, they're the combos, so you can't key those, but you can key everything else. So it's just these guys here are really our sliders. And remember, in Maya, you don't even really need the shape editor open. These are virtual sliders, meaning that if we hold control, we just show that on and off, or I can hold control now, and that's what we call a virtual slider. Okay, and then we've got the sad, so we can turn that on and off, and then we've got the smile coming down, right? That. Now you can also animate in the shapes editor. I would actually prefer. I was just animating this, and I did it all in the shapes editor, and I didn't really like it. To be honest, I'd rather be over here, and I'd rather move these attributes down out of the way and create like a little facial control and then animate on those and not have this awfulness here. But let's animate with this anyway and just show you how it works. So just say on the first frame, we want to grab all these guys. We can just go like that. And we can grab them all and just put them all to 0. Okay, now we want to put a keyframe there. So we just go on frame 0. We're going to keyframe that. We're going to come up to frame, say 30. And then I'm going to right click and select that blend shape node so we can see the keyframes in the timeline. You do need the blend shape node selected in order to see the blend shapes. Now I can come in again and I'm just going to put another keyframe on that. So that's clicking this. And you can see that when we're stepping through the frames, they'll go kind of a darker red when they're keyframed, and they'll be a lighter red when they're not. So if we wanted to come in to like frame 33, and this in the eyes, we want to close those. You can also have the auto key on for this. I did like to do that. I usually will have auto key off, but for this facial thing, I found it quite handy to have that on. And then so just in a couple of frames, blinks usually only take over a couple of frames, so you can only just make that say 2 frames, 1, 2, 1, 2, back up. And then we can, a few frames later, like maybe here, we can get maybe, we want to have a sad face that we saw before. And then we want to go mouth down and then lips in. Yeah, and then maybe a little bit of mouth open. This with the lips in. Now we could fix these shapes as well, like because they're combination shapes and make more combos to get exactly what we're after, but we can sort of see what that's doing. Now we've got this kind of blink and the mouth comes down. Yeah. And then about here, so on that frame there, I like to key everything, so I'll just sort of like select there and then shift there and then shift. It might be a command on OS X. And then we're going to come across to 60 and then hit key. And then a few frames later, this time like to maybe there, we're going to key them all off. And I just want to make this the happy face. So just make sure all these are keyed. And we want to make our happy face. So like that. And we're going to get our big mouth open. And then we're also going to do our happy eyes. Yeah, like this. And I'm just going to move these. These eyes don't have keys on them yet, so we'll just put them somewhere there. So that's that. And we just got like a in between. Now it's really cool on face shape changes to put blinks and things in. So let's come into the eyes closed. Now, again, I've lost my thing here, so I don't like this about Maya, but you've got to come in and continually select the shape node if you want to see your keys in the timeline. So it's going to be there, and then 1, 2, make that eye blink, okay? And it auto keys because I've got auto key on, and then a couple of frames later, we can come in and take that eyes close open. Now you will see on here on that frame that the mesh is kind of intersecting. That's because we've really, on the blink frame, we want to take everything else off. So that means that the eyes closed is on one, but we want to take everything else off. And that will fix that sort of intersections happening there. So he blinks and then comes up. Another thing that we can do is on the mouth, in cartoon land, it's quite common, like on the in-between. So if we again right click, select the shape node, go about halfway, we can get the mouth up and down, and we can go like really far down, so that sort of like the mouth sort of goes down and then up. Yeah. And you can sort of see that there. I can really want that even to go down as much as it possibly can, so we get that effect. Yeah, so it's moving on a bit of an arc. And now we've just made a couple of face changes. Okay, last thing, animating these eyes. Eyes move very quickly, so over 1 or 2 frames, we can make it do something like that. So now the eye's looking around, and then as he blinks, I do want the eyes to come down just a bit. So 1, 2 to there, and just those eyes will come down. Again, I could kind of add, there's a bit too much of them. That's got to be off on that frame. We could do that, and then just over, like really quickly, you know, he'll be looking over here somewhere. Yeah. Now on frame 16, I'll just put a keyframe. So I'm just putting a keyframe only on translates here, by the way. That's just Shift W, but you can hit S as well. Just 2 frames. We just put a little eye dart. So little eye dart moves like that. And then I can middle click drag that key to there, and then Shift W again. That means it's now going to move and stop. So you can see it's got a little eye dart there. So eye darts are pretty cool. We can do like little tiny ones over 1 frame. Yeah, like this little back and forthness. Remember that eyes are very, very quick. Yeah, I want that one to go the other way actually. So this little eye dart. Set a keyframe, and then the eyes can come up a bit there. And we've got that happening, and then over a frame here, we can do a little couple more eye darts. And we've started to animate our face. So there you go, guys. That's basically it. Now I'm going to save that one out as the demo complete. But this one that I animated earlier tonight, we can come into that one, just open it up again. And this has just got a couple more things. So we've got a pout is very good. So remember the frowns. You can definitely pout. That's the bottom lip pushing up the top lip. That's what a pout is. A frown just brings the corners down. So then with the pout and the frown, you can get them both happening together, and you can make some nice correctives on that. I hardly have any correctives on this, but you could. Okay, so that gets you like this frowny face with a pout. Then the smile always goes up, and then the mouth, the jaw of the mouth will usually come down, so it won't go up so much as I've got it here if you've got a more realistic character, but we can do, you know, the mouth opening like that. We've also got lips up and down, you know, as we can see, and I think that's about it. We've got this, I've got a corrective for this one somewhere here. If we scroll through, I've got a nice small and open. So if we put those together, I modeled a nice little small and open face shape there. Otherwise, it's just the ones that we modeled there for the eyes. So that's about it. And you can sort of see if I start pressing play now. Oh, I had auto key on, so I'll just reload the scene. So I was making some changes and I didn't realize. Now we can close this guy and just see that, yeah, we can make quite a lot of face shapes quite quickly. And I can do a lot more too. So you can split this left and right. Now that would be the last thing to do here, is just to split the face shapes left and right. That would get you really getting those face shapes nice and asymmetrical, because everything's looking very even here, and I'd split the eyes left and right too so I could get some asymmetry in the face. But in a short little demo, that should get you guys around the blend shape editor. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed.